Hello, how to make your own image mockup for your mug videos. We are going to use Inkscape. Inkscape is a vector design software. It is free and open source, so you can Google Inkscape and download it if you don't have it installed on your computer. So we open Inkscape, and what we are going to do is we are going to resize it. So we'll go to File and click on Document Properties. And I like to size it to the mug mockup. So in this session though, let's assume you do not have a blank mug on hand to use. So you want to have a mug image so that you can put your design on it. So you want the image to be blank. So when we come to the document properties, we are going to select pixel, and I'm going to select pixel here as on this session as well. And I'm going to change, because it's 96 dpi, I'm going to change the width to A64, yes, and the height to 358.4. And what I'm working with is, let's see if I have it right. Let's bring a calculator. We are going to the Printful recommend a size for mug design. Redbubble use a similar size. So since I resize my design for Redbubble mugs, I just use that size. So I believe it's 2710, and I'm going to times that by 96 and divide it by 300. And let's do 1070 times 96 divided by 300. Okay, so since I'm not getting the number right, let's go look for where I will have it. And you want to resize the Canva, and I think it makes things a little bit easier. So let's look for design, probably mug, and see if I have the sizing. In fact, I should have sizing somewhere here. Okay, so yeah, okay, 2700 by 1120 is there. So that will translate to A64 358.4, and the same calculation goes. So 2700 times 96 divided by 300. When you are using Inkscape and you want it to use a specific DPI for the end result, you have to calculate the dimensions that you want to work with, and that's how you calculate it. Inkscape comes in 96 DPI by default, so you have to use the end image size times 96 divided by 300 if you want the end. If the image size is at 200 dpi, if it's at 1000 dpi, then that's the size times 96 divided by 1000. So we got the numbers right. It's pixel, and then I'll close out of it, and that will size it. What I like to do is we'll go to File, we'll click on Export, and I will change to pixel so that I can see the size there, and I can see the end, the image size and the 300 dpi. That way I know that it's sized properly, because if it didn't, then I'll go back to file, document property, and redo it there as well. And sometimes it will be right there, but you have to click on something different here and click on pixel again to actually for the change that you apply to show. So now we have the mockup. I like to work with layers, so we will go to layer on top, or you can just press Ctrl Shift and L, but we'll click on layer and I'll show my layers. And I like to add one layer, so we can just click on this plus and add one on top of it. We won't need those layers just yet, but while we click on the first one, let's create a rectangle of this size. So I'm going to click on the rectangle shape, and I'm just going to drag the image to create a rectangle. So the rectangle, I do not want stroke, so I'm going to press Shift on my keyboard and press the X button to remove the stroke, is the outline. And right now I'm just going to leave a color in it for now. So I'm going to click on the arrow that is selection, and I'll go on top to make sure I have pixel, and I will put the size that the canvas is. So that was what, 864 for the width, and the height was 358.4. So now it resizes it for me. Because it's a rectangle, I don't want to necessarily lock the shape in, so that's why the aspect ratio log path is open, and I resize it. So now I'm going to press Ctrl Shift A, or you can just scroll down and you'll see it as well, is aligned, and you'll click on it. Let's go back up. So I'm going to align it relative to the page. So while the rectangle is selected relative to the page, I will click center vertical axis, center horizontal axis. So it is centered for me. I'm going to remove the color. We do not have stroke, but we have color. So to do that, I'm just going to click on the X button to remove it. So now we just have a blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it, and you'll go to File, Save As, and that will save a vector for us. And let's create a folder here and call it mug size. So what we will do is we will click plain SVG and we will save it. So you can go to File and click Save As again, or you can do Ctrl Shift and then you press S on your keyboard, and it will bring that Save As. And I'm going to save it again. I will save it as EPS. So if you have Affinity Design, you can save as EPS, and I'm going to save image size or page size depending on what I'm working on. I switch those two, and you can use Control and then Shift and then E, or you can go to File and click on Export. So it's Shift Control E, or just click on Export SVG, or sometimes you just scroll down, you'll find it here as well, but it will bring it. Let's go up. So we want to make sure, okay, selection or page, they are the same, so I'm going to go with selection. But if it was a design that I'm putting here, I will probably go with the page so that it saves the whole size design for me. So let's click on the page. Again, I want to make sure the final size of the image, it is here, and I'll click on Export as, and let's see where we have been saving. So when you are working on design, what I will suggest is, don't know if I have any open, but you can have your folders open, and then you just click on the file location on top to copy and paste that way, and you press enter. That way it'll be easy rather than trying to navigate all the way to where you want to save your image. So I'm going to do that, and it's going to save it as a PNG. We are going to save it, and in this session we are trying to create a blank mug. So if you use Printful, because we are going to use Printful, so we will use this one. If you use Printful to fulfill your print on demand, then you will download the mug from there. So now that we have our blank mug design, we save it. Let's go to Printful, and we already opened Printful before, and if you do not have mug already, you can click on create mug product template and find the mug, but we have mug. So what we are going to do is we are going to click on one of our mug and duplicate, and it make a copy for us. So we are going to click on edit, and the design shape that I showed you earlier, that's, I put two design on it. I make the design, my design, 1000 by 1000 vector, and then I will put two design on that size template, and then I'll upload it here. But alternatively, you can upload one design, duplicate it, and put it here as well. It works. So I'm going to delete the design that I have here already to have the blank mug, but Printful is not going to allow you to just download a blank mug image from their site. That's why we create a blank design. So we are going to go to choose file. We will click on upload new file, and that's one here. That's a blank mug there, but let's go to, okay, I think let's see if I still have that I saved earlier. That will take us, you see, that's why when you are working, it's good to, so we are going to click on the PNG version, and we will upload it. And I don't know, sometimes it can take a while just working, but thankfully it worked. So now we are going to click on apply, and that's that. So our blank design is there. So we'll click on continue, because it's exactly the same size, we don't need, if it was the design, we don't need to resize anything here. So you see that, let's just, don't know, let's call it blank. And you can save it template wise for your things if you want. I'll call it blank. So save proto template, we'll click on that, and that's 15 ounces that we are working on. So now that you save it, you will click on that, those 3 points, click on download mockup. It will show you different version. So if you want, the reason why we are using this process is because you do not want to use their mockup. If you are trying to save time, using their mockup might be a way for you, but you have to live with the fact that other people using Printful to fulfill their orders and will use their mockup. You know, the mockup will just be the same. And so that's why you want to create your own. So we are going to just, I have done it before when I download their mockup, but I don't want to use their mockup. So I just going to stick with the blank that are selected for us. And we scroll down and you click on PNG and you click on generate mockup. You want the PNG version. And when it's done, it'll ask you to download. You click on download. It will download a zip folder for you. So you will need to save them properly. Let's go back and mug size. Let's click on that and have, I think it does. Let's create a folder. We can call it blank mug. Blank mug, 15 ounces. Okay, I'm going to delete this zipper out of here. Okay, so we have this blank mug here. We will go to download. We will find our zip file, and you can just select them and you can right click. I'm just going to cut them. So I'm going to go back and mug, blank mug, and I'm just going to press Ctrl V to paste them. Okay, so now let me copy this link here and I'll get out of it and come back again to see the images. So you'll notice that it is blank. So now you have your own blank mug you can use, and just make sure, since you got it from Printful, you use Printful to fulfill those designs you are going to use the mug for. I have ordered the blank mug along with a mug that I put design on to see how the design look, and I ordered blank 11 and 15 ounces from them to use, and they told me that they don't sell blank mugs. So another way to go around that is to put a small design on one side of the mug, place an order for that, put the design on another side of the mug, and place the order for that. And when I receive them, I can use the blank side of the mug to take pictures and have my blank mug. Or I can just go online and search to find the mug, 15 ounces mug, exactly the way they are selling theirs, and buy it. Theirs has the bottom is not flat, so that's something to consider when you are purchasing a mug. You want to purchase one that will be exactly like theirs, since if they are the one fulfilling the product, you want this you want a mug that will be exactly about the same as theirs to put your design on. So I'm going to pretty much remove that design that we made, and I'm now going to resize. Let's see if I want to resize this. Let's resize the Inkscape. Now we will come back to Inkscape now that we have our mug property document properties. So the mug is 1000 by 1000 if you download it from Printful. So 1000 by 1000 at 200 dpi is 320 by 320 pixel at 96 dpi. So 1000 times 96 divided by 300 is 320. So we are going to change our, while we have pixel unit selected, we are going to change to 320 by 320 and get out of this. So we resize it. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And we still have our layers that we created, and they'll come handy. So now in this session, we are going to put our own design on the mug. So on the first layer, we want to bring the mug. So we will open the mug and let's bring one. And before we even put design, there will be a step. Oh, 640 by 640, that's, let's go back here. They changed the size of their design. 2000 by 2000. I don't think that's what it used to be. I think it's 1000 by 1000. I think it's an update because I did that not so long ago, maybe a month ago. The design used to be 1000 by 1000, but I think with L.L.C requiring at least 2000 by 2000, they change it. 1000 by 1000. So it's a recent change from their side so that it can meet L.L.C requirement. Okay, so since it's a 2000 by 2000, let's go back and resize our things. So is 2000, so we just take 320 times 2, that'll be 640, and the height will be 640 as well. So pretty much now what we are going to do is, okay, let me just, you scroll down to find a line. We scroll up, we want relative to page, and the design is the product is selected. So you click vertical axis, horizontal axis, and that will line up with the page. Let me zoom out for you to see it. So that align. So now that we have that, let's go back to layers again, and I'm going to lock the mug so that it does not move on me. So, and then I'll click on the second layer, and let's bring this closer. So pretty much what we are going to do is we are not just going to put a design on it like that. We are going to draw a shape that is a little bit concave. I don't know if that is an English word or not, but you know, that kind of bent shape of the mug. So to do that, we are going to click on Bezier tool. And when I don't know if you notice it, I saved that blank shape earlier. This one, when we draw it, we are going to save it. That way you are not going to keep drawing each time. So you want to draw the shape of the mug. I think it's a little bit too close. And it's good to draw where you want to put the design, but at this point I'm just going to, so I'm going to click on shift, and while you do that, make sure the first mode is selected, is create a regular Bezier path. So we are going to click on the beginning. While I hold my shift key, I will just come to the bottom. I'm going to click on control and press down arrow to see the bottom, and I'm going to click on the other side. I'll click on the edge and I will connect both. Where it turns red, I will double click to let it go. So now I'm going to click on the node tool to see my node. I'm going to hold shift again, and I'm going to bend the shape a little bit to match my cup, and this one I'm going to bend it down a little bit to do the bottom, and this point is a little bit too far. I'm going to bring it. To move the point, I'll hold control and I'll move it, and this I'm going to move it as well. I'm holding control and I'm moving it. So I think I like it the way it is. So now we have our shape. Let's give it has a stroke color, so we can give it, maybe I'll press shift and then I'll click on red, so that will give a red color to the stroke, or a green color, whichever you want to give it. So but I'm going to keep it red. So I'm going to press, and this is the shape of the mug, so we need to save it. So to do that, I'm going to click on the mug and I'll click on this minus to delay the mug for now. So we have our shape. Let me zoom out. I'm going to select the shape. I don't know if you notice it, which design. Okay, we'll come back. What the handle was here. That was the left handle one. So the reason why I work with the size of the mug, we are going to save the whole Canva in PNG for that as well, but this time we are going to save this one, and I'm going to go to file, save as, and it's going to open it. You might want to save your templates in a way that you can find them later. Okay. I'm just going to put today's date. And I will call it left handle. And I will change to plain SVG, and I will save it. And I will go back to file again. I like to save it as EPS as well for Affinity. So I will change that format to EPS. If you have Affinity Design, you'll be able to use this one. So I'm going to save the object size, not the page. And you can save the page size if you want to. So I'm going to go back to file, export PNG image. So the selection is selected for me, and I'm going, you can see the size of that image. I'm going to export that, and again, it is good if you have your folders open, so that when you need to copy, you need to put the folder location is easy to find by just copying the location and paste it. So yeah, you might find yourself open multiple folders and just leave them there to work with. I think I put it somewhere here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to copy this location here and I will paste it. Left handle, and you'll repeat the same process for the right handle as well, and it's going to save it as a PNG for you, but you need to come back and click export. There is export button here. You'll need to click on export to actually save it. So now that it's saved, we'll go back to here and save the page as well, because the page will tell us the position of that shape. So I will come and I'll just give it page, why not? And then I will click on export and save it. So we'll go back to our layers. I will click on layers and we have can you go on top, our layer here. Now we'll click on undo more than once to bring our mug back. So we want the mug, that's the mug we are going to put the design on. We have this design that we made. So what I'm going to do with this design is still selected. I'm going to duplicate it. So let's duplicate that and move it to the side. So we still have one here. So under this first mug layer, like we click on that layer to select it, we want to put another layer. Okay, let's just do it this way. So while we have this, let's go to layer and click add layer, because I like to have it in order. If that matters to you, you can do that. So what we are going to do is we are going to select our mug, don't know how to call it, the face shape. We are going to move it to layer 3. So we'll go to layer after we select it and click on move selection to layer above. You see it's there. So to make sure it is there, if I close the eye, it will hide it. So we have the mug shape layer on top, we have the mug at the bottom. So the layer 2 is empty, free for us. That's where we'll put the design. The design needs to be at the back of the shape. So we will now go get our design, and we have the design made already. And it's going to, I'm just going to drag it, and I'm going to drag the vector. I'll use vector and I will click on the plus. You can use the PNG if your design are in PNG format, but in Inkscape I like to save in those 3 formats. The PNG is more for me to see the design without actually clicking on it, and the final design I will save it in PNG, and that's what I will upload the last. So I'm holding control and I'm moving the design. So it's on layer 2 because layer 2 is selected. So you'll notice that the reason why we save the image shape, if you select the image, I don't know how we are going to call it, the shape of the let's call it the shape of the mug, you can center the design on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Ctrl and Shift and resize my design to fit within that shape of the mug, the way I want it to be. So in this though, I'm going to make it, we can just make it the way we made it before, but going forward I will prefer to make it smaller so that when it print out it can keep the round shape, because I ordered the same design and when they printed it is not round, it's a little bit pulled down for me. And then I still want more space for the lip section without touching the print with the lip, with our lip, you know, for health reasons. I want to keep the print section away from the top, well away from the top. So okay, so but for this exercise, since we have printful based on the way I print the design there, we are going to use the one that I did before. The one that I did before, I make sure the design is pretty much like this, but you don't want that to be too close to the edge, because when they printed it does not go too close to the handle section. But I think that's good. So now that we have that, we are going to select the design. We are going to select, it won't select for us because we lock it. So we are going to click on the mug shape layer and unlock it as well. So we are going to hold Shift key and press the shape to select it, and that's what Inkscape does. And we are going to scroll down, or you can do Shift Control A, but I'm looking for Align, and you can scroll to find it, or you can just do Control Shift A to find it. So we are going to do last selected, because we select that shape last. We want to center the image relative to that shape. So if you select that shape first and then the image second, then you need to do first selected, but it's relative to the mug shape. So, and then I'm going to press vertical axis, horizontal axis, so that will center my design for me. And while both are still selected, let's see if I can bring it closer. While both are selected, I'm going to go to Objects and I'm going to go to Clip and Set. And that will pretty much what I'm trying to say is shaping the image to take the mug shape. So that's why we draw the mug shape. If the image was larger, the way the shape was, you will see the change, the curve shape of the image. But since the image is smaller than the shape, it won't be obvious. So now that we have it, Clip and Set, you'll notice that where I have white, it's kind of wider than the mug. So in this step, we are going to blend everything in. I know some people will recommend lowering the opacity, and I'm not going to do that. So let's go back to our layers. The mug, at this point I think I can just unlock the mug. So we have our design. Let's see what the design still is. The design is still on layer 2. Okay, so we are going to, you see where we have blends normal, under layer you will see blend at the bottom of it. When you click on layer and you click on layers, you'll see, and you have your layers display, you'll see blend mode at the bottom. So what you will do is click on multiply, and you'll notice that those white shiny disappear. It blend into the mug. That's the last step of it. So let's zoom out, if that's the right term. So we create a mug design for I will say a mug image for our design. So this we will save it as PNG. And you can do file, export, PNG, or you can scroll where I was scrolling before to find it at the bottom. And it's going to be the page or the selection, because it's here showing on 2000 by 2000 since the mug is the size of the canvas. But I'm just going to do, yeah, let's keep a selection, and I'm going to click on export, and we are not going to paste it here. Let's see where we have, I think it's here. So let's copy. That's why it's good to have those folders open and paste it. So we have the design made there. So let's, instead of putting it there, let's create another picture. Okay. I'm just going to keep it the way it is and add 25 W, I believe, and save it, and then we'll click on export to actually export it. So I'm not going to do the right hand, the head on the right side. I'm just going to keep this one for this video, but that's the same principle you will use for the other side. And this one, if you have multiple designs and you want to make you know, images like that for it, you will do that. So now we have this image. I'm going to group it so that I can just use it. So let's group it to turn it into one. So I just go to objects and I click on group to group it. So I'm going to move it to the side. Okay, so in this step, we want to create multiple images with the design. So the first one will be, okay, hold on, let's go to layers here. I'm going to use layer 3 since not to have anything, and I'm going to click on the rectangle. And when I click on the rectangle tool here, I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and I want that rectangle to be the size of the mug. So it's going to be 2000 by 2000. So I don't know why Inkscape likes to do that. Sometimes it will behave, sometimes it will do that. So I'm going to click on that arrow, selection arrow, and I'll go up and change the size of the that to 640 by 640, and I will bring the align. You can find it at the bottom, but I just use Control Shift A to bring it, and I'm going to relative to the page, horizontal axis, vertical axis. So I have that rectangle here, I do not want a stroke, so I'm going to click on the X button while I'm pressing shift to remove the stroke. So that is going to change the shape, and I need to resize it again. 640 by 640 at 96 dpi is 2000 pixel by 2000 at 300 dpi, and I align it. So now that we don't have stroke, I can add a color. So I can just I like to work with not really white color. So I have the background really on top, so I'm going to add another layer and bring the design up. So I can just click on this brush and put the layer on top where the images will be, and the background will be on layer 3. So I'm going to click on my mug, and I'm going to click on layer on top, and I'll click on move selection to layer above. It'll move it to layer 3. I'll repeat it again, layer, and the reason is just that, sorry, that Inkscape tried to just not respond, and I'll click on move selection to layer above, and it'll move it to where we want it, to layer 4. So now we can just hold control. See, it's just when it does that, is Inkscape not responding. So I'm going to move the mug to the things. So I don't like it when things are snapping. If it's annoying you, you turn the snap off. But let's do it. Okay, so because we align, in fact, not responding. I'm going to select both, and I'm going to do, I will scroll down and click on the align tool. Oh, come on. Thought I selected both. So there is a little mouse there, a little drop down there. So I'll click on align. You can just use Control Shift 8 too. So align relative to the page. I'm going to center both of them at the same time. So now we can do Control Shift E or file export PNG to find it. So I'm just going to do the page and export as, don't know if I still have it. Let me see. Yeah, I have it. Okay, so the product, let me copy the location. And I'm just going to just call this too. If you are doing it to save on your own website, you might want to throw your images with keyword previously searched for the product you made that you are creating images for. So this is one image. So we are going to move our mug. Let's leave this here for now. So let's move to the side what layers are under layers. Yeah, layer 3 has the background, so let's stay on that layer and let's bring use this. Let's bring other backgrounds. So that's how you are going to be different from the others. If you are using Printful and other people are using Printful as well and they are using Printful mockup, if you want to have your own mockup, your own images, since you don't actually print the design out to take picture, you are going to have image mockups. So because we are working with mug, you want to take, let's bring a Naldo. Why not? Let's bring this design. So pretty much what it is, and I'm not going to change anything here, I'm just going to click on OK. And I probably zoom out for you to see it better. It's not responding yet, but trying to have a surface. Okay, I'm going to hold control and move it.